So you're thinking about putting new tiles in your home, but you're not sure what are your options out there? Well, in this episode, we're going to go through all those options so you can have a clear idea as to what's the best for you. All right, guys, so here we go. It's through some of the tiles that are out there that you can kind of buy for your home. We're going to start off with the most common one that's you're going to typically see when you walk into any showroom. Okay, let's start off with large format tiles. So this is any tile with one side 380 millimeters long. So the large format tiles are really interesting because they come in two different types. They got glazed and unglazed. And if you've seen from our previous videos, glazed tiles are the sort of the shiny tiles that you might see, and they have a glaze on them. It's an enamel glaze. The interesting about them is that they mimic natural stone really well. And now they're putting a lot of effort. It's kind of booming in the industry, and so they're really trying to make it look as close as possible to natural stone without all the maintenance that comes with it. So marble, for instance, is a big one that porcelain tiles try to mimic. You start to see tiles that kind of look like granite as well, so I got those colors. So really interesting to look into porcelain tiles. You're gonna have a lot more options. Another category of porcelain tiles is the thin porcelain slabs that are something that's entering our market and is becoming pretty popular as well. These are tiles that are like almost 5 to 10 feet long. They typically might be installed in just as a slab in showers, like 3 shower walls, just slab, no grout joints, or you're gonna have like a feature wall. These tiles are a lot thinner than your typical porcelain tile, so you do need some skill in order to install these. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has a special way of installing it, but because all these installation methods are already determined by the Tile, Trowels and Marble Association of Canada or the TCNA. Basically, you just need to make sure that they get the proper coverage. Installation method is rated for the particular application. So if it's supposed to be for heavy, all those, and I'll discuss this in a different video into more details. But let's get to some of the other tiles that are out there. There are Mosaic Tiles, if you've probably heard that name before. Mosaic Tiles are just an array of these tiles out there. You got pebble stones. You've probably seen them, the little pebble stones that come in different shapes and sizes. This typically gets installed like in a shower floor, gives that kind of an earthy look to it. And you got penny round tiles, very thin circular tiles, and you can put them in all kinds of places, backsplashes, shower floors, ceilings, niches, all kinds of places. You got the hex tiles, again, mosaic, but hexagonal kind of shape. You got the square shaped one. Those are probably the more common ones you've seen. And then you got the odd shaped sort of tiles where it's like spear shaped, or you got the herringbone, you got the chevron. These are again come in all different shapes and sizes, and they all come on a sheet. So one thing about the mosaics is that they do come on a backing sheet that holds it together. They come in glass or natural stone as well, or metal. So or even a combination of these things. So lots of options out there for mosaic tiles, and it's good to discuss with your supplier, the retailer person that you're purchasing from, what's the best location for these? What are these rated for? There's so many other things that go into selecting a tile for a particular location. And the next category of tiles that also are out there is these are still when the porcelain tiles are plank tiles, and they tend to be sort of very long, sometimes 20 inches or 36 inches or 48 inches, and they might have like a hardwood kind of look to it. They would get installed actually similar to hardwood, very kind of thin grout joints, and they look really nice. And if somebody's looking for that kind of look, really make the place look that kind of earthy kind of look to it. Now, in our tile shop, we have all kinds of colors. So blue, sort of a beige, white, all kinds of colors, and it still has that kind of a hardwood grain look to it. The next type of tiles are your glazed ceramic tiles. This is another very common ones you see, and they come in a lot of very vibrant colors. If you're looking for that vibrant kind of glossy look, this glazed ceramic tile is perfect. Now keep in mind, these are best suited for walls. So for instance, like someone's looking for a subway tile, then the glazed ceramic tile would be perfect for that. So these are some of the most common tiles you see. Now, if you go towards like natural stone, then you start to see like marble tends to be pretty common. People would put marble on their floors. Slate is another pretty common one as well. Travertine is another one that I see as well. It's not as common, but it used to be pretty popular. It gets used for backsplash showers. But thing to keep in mind with all these three natural stones that they do need to be sealed before grouting, because what happens is there's a lot of holes in these tiles, some of them more obvious than others. Like for instance, travertine, you can clearly see it. Marble can be very, very fine, you might not be able to see it, but if you just do end up grouting it, you're going to see that penetrate into it. So they do need to be sealed. And the other thing is, there's other types of natural stones that get used in different areas. For instance, marble can be used as also like a threshold or like a transition between two floors. Like for instance, you can have a marble threshold where it can be a transition from like hardwood to tile. There's also quartz. Quartz is pretty nice because it is polished, so it doesn't really absorb anything. You don't really need to seal it, and you can install in like countertops. It can be used as shower jams, for your curb, for the inside of your niche, or for like countertops as well. But I have found from experience you still need to seal them before grouting, because depending on the quality in which it's been polished, some of that grout can still make it very hard to remove the grout afterwards. So these are the most common tiles that are out there. I'm sure there's some variation of all these, especially on the mosaic side, but it gives you sort of an idea of what you can kind of select for your home. To tell you sort of where the industry is headed, we start to see more of the larger tiles being used on surfaces. People are looking for less grout joints and more of like a slab kind of look. So the thin porcelain slabs are becoming more and more popular. That only means that the skill level of the installer will have to keep up with that, or else there's going to be a lot of complications. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you learned something from this video, and we'll see you in the next video.